John Wick Chapter 4 is probably the best movie in the franchise. I honestly thought that this was a near perfect film. Everything in this movie is so well put together, and the movie takes all of the best elements from the other movies and crams all of those amazing elements into one movie. Honestly, I had some nitpicks here and there and one problem, but other than those nitpicks and one problem, I would say that this is a near perfect film. It is the perfect way to end the John Wick franchise, and I'm not sure if there's going to be future movies, but if they ended it here, I would be totally fine with that. This movie is incredible. The action is probably the best in the John Wick. Out of all the John Wick movies, this movie probably has the best action. There's a lot of new characters in this movie, but surprisingly, all of them are given nice development, and all of them are very likable or unlikable. There's a new villain in this movie, and you'd think, oh, well, this new villain just got introduced. He might not have enough time to develop because there's so many characters. No, he gets some nice development too, and he becomes an unlikable villain, the perfect level of unlikability. And there's so many things in this film that are just so well done. There's a lot of amazing action. There's this scene, and honestly, it was insane. I remember having so much fun watching it. There's this scene in the movie where there's a bunch of assassins chasing John Wick, and they have dragon breath shotguns, which basically they shoot out like sparks and fire. And they filmed it where it's like a bunch of rooms and it has no ceiling, so it looks almost like a video game. Honestly, if John Wick was turned into a video game, I think that would be amazing. These movies feel like you're watching a video game. The way that scene played out with the cinematography and the amazing action, especially with the Dragon's Breath shotguns, it was insanely fun to watch. Insanely fun to watch. The movie has probably the best action in the franchise. There's so many amazing action scenes in this movie. I can name so many times where I was just like, that was fun to watch. That was fun to watch. That was fun to watch. Again, I talked about the Dragon's Breath scene. Awesome. I loved that they threw in the Dragon's Breath shotguns, which seemed like something brand new that we hadn't seen before. There's this scene where John Wick has to get up a flight of stairs, but he continues to get just ambushed by assassin after assassin. It's insane how many good action scenes there are in this. Amazing. Just overall amazing. There's also, in the final duel, the final battle, I'm not gonna lie, I actually got some goosebumps. It was insane. I could not believe, like, that was one of those moments where I was actually questioning what was gonna happen. It wasn't like a clear answer as to what was gonna happen. You didn't know who was gonna die. You didn't know who was gonna live. You didn't know. It was amazing. It felt good to not know what was going to happen, because sometimes nowadays things get kind of cliched and you kind of know what's gonna happen. There, it was so unpredictable, and I actually was just worried for these characters, and it was insane. Very well put together. It actually had me wondering what was gonna happen. And again, I said earlier that there are a lot of new characters in this movie. Surprisingly, there are not a lot of returning characters, but in this movie, they introduce a lot of characters, but surprisingly, they balance each and every one of them very, very well. They give all of them that good, equal screen time that they needed to become likable and to become developed. And I feel like in another movie, they probably wouldn't have done it so well, but here they just did it to a T. Every character was very likable. Every character was well developed. Now, I thought this movie was amazing. If you get the chance, go watch it. If you haven't seen the other John Wick films, go watch them all. I love these movies. They're amazing. Be sure to go check this one out. It's definitely the best in this series. But here are some of the nitpicks that I had with this movie. Again, I thought this movie was amazing. A very, very well put together movie, but I did have some problems with it. So, or more like nitpicks. So, there's this character in the movie who's a blind character, and I'm not against blind characters being able to fight, but usually other movies do it more realistically. Here, there's this blind character who fights, and he kills a lot of people, and he has, like, dead-on aim, and all this other stuff, and he's killing so many people with guns, and I'm like, you can't give him that good of accuracy. And using a gun would, like, disorient a blind person if they were, you know what I mean? They have to rely on other senses, and I feel like using a gun would probably disorient them, you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't be able to hear anything. So if you gave the blind guy, I think his name was Kane, if you gave him like silenced pistols, I think it would have made more sense. But here they give him like loud ones and stuff, and it was a little unbelievable. It took me out of the action for a little bit. And then there's this character, he's like a mob boss. I think he's a member of the High Table. He's like a mob boss, and he's like a kind of like a Kingpin character, like Kingpin from Spider-Verse. And he fights John Wick at one point, but he starts fighting and he kicks John Wick. He roundhouse kicks John Wick over a railing. And I'm like, there's no way he could have done that. This guy's wearing these skinny jeans. He looks like he's like 300 pounds. There's no way he could roundhouse kick John Wick hard enough over a railing like that. Now, if he was a brawler character like Kingpin, where they have like those large hooks and those heavy punches, something like that, then like, like a brawler character like Kingpin from Spider-Man, that would have made a lot more sense to me. But here when he did that, I kind of it took me out of the action again. It kind of just took me out of the story for a little bit. I was like, there's no way. He's in these skinny jeans and everything. There's no way he could throw a roundhouse kick that hard. And I'm not gonna lie, there was one problem that I had with this movie, and the problem was that I didn't really know why John Wick was fighting. Like, this movie does such a good job at everything else, but explaining as to why John Wick was fighting as much as he was in this movie, it didn't make sense to me. In the first movie, it was about revenge. In the second movie, it was about paying a debt. In the third movie, it was about self-defense. But in this movie, it was a little confusing as to why he was fighting. Did he want to fight for redemption? Did he want to fight because he wanted to die? Did he want to fight because of this? Did he want to fight because of that? It's very confusing as to why he wants to fight in this movie. It really got confusing. There was not really a clear moral. There were some times in this movie where I'm like, well, John, if you wanted to redeem yourself, then why did you do that? But if you wanted to do this, then why would you do that? There was a lot of things in this that I didn't fully understand. Like, we know from the very beginning that John doesn't have a lot to live for, but then why are you fighting so hard to, it got very confusing in this movie. It got very confusing. And again, that's the only thing. And you know what's another thing too? I think this movie might have a director's cut in the future. The movie is almost 3 hours long, and there might have been some stuff cut out of the movie, and maybe there is an explanation somewhere as to why there was no real clear explanation for that. I really just wanted an explanation as to why John was fighting in this movie. I didn't fully understand it. It got a little confusing. And that was the only problem I had with this movie. I'm gonna be honest. Other than the nitpicks, that was the only problem that I had with this movie, is that maybe there's more to it that I missed. Maybe there's probably going to be some videos out there explaining it. Maybe there's more to it that I missed. But that was my only problem with this movie. Other than that, I would say that this is an incredible film, near perfect. Honestly, like the best John Wick film, best in the series. Again, other than those nitpicks and that problem, I think this movie's incredibly well put together. Very, very good movie. Be sure to go check out John Wick 4 in theaters. I don't want to talk too much about this film because I want y'all to go watch it. Go watch it. You're going to get some insane action scenes, insane characters, everything. It just goes over the top. It takes all of the best elements from the other John Wick movies and it crams them into one amazing film. Be sure to go check it out. Have y'all seen John Wick 4? What did you guys think of it? I think it's the best in the series. I think it's amazing. But God bless you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe. I do movie retrospectives, TV stuff like that, movie related stuff on my channel, so I'd appreciate a sub. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll see you all next time.